Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA Podcast. I'm your host, Andre Natera. Today's a special episode. It's episode 100, guest episode with Chef Aaron Bludorn from Houston. Chef Aaron Bludorn was the chef at Cafe Boulud before moving to Houston, Texas, and opening up several restaurants, including Bar Bludorn, Navy Blue, and Bludorn Restaurant. It's a great conversation. We talk cooking competitions, weather anomalies, and great advice for young cooks as well as people that are looking to open up their own restaurant. I had a really great conversation with Chef Aaron, and I think you all will really enjoy it.
They're calling it a derecho.
They're calling it what?
A derecho.
A derecho.
Yeah, is the name that was deemed by news sources and yeah. Have you ever heard of derecho before?
It means straight, right? In Spanish.
Yeah.
Derecho.
Yeah.
Straight.
So it goes straight through. And I guess I was reading something I believe it was the Houston Chronicle.
Mm-hmm.
It was all because Central and Central America's getting a huge heat wave. They have the heat dome that's over there.
Uh-huh.
So this heat dome, on the top of the heat dome, is creating conditions for thunderstorms to move across. And so this is a thunderstorm that moves straight in a straight line and it was closer to a tornado than it was a hurricane.
I was on social media, and I apologize, I didn't reach out earlier, but I saw all these videos of downtown windows getting blown out, and I wasn't really following. I was like, is this old? What is this? I mean, we were getting thunderstorms in Austin, but then I saw you posting like, hey, we're closed or we're open and we're doing a cookout outside or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, what's going on over there? Like I was a little slow to what was happening, but you guys got hit pretty hard.
We did. Not, all of our homes, for sure. So everyone was kind of like dealing with things on the home front.
Yeah.
But then the restaurants all lost power. I mean, thankfully, no massive damage to the restaurants, but the biggest damage is spoilage, and what do you do in that first 24 hours?
So what did you do?
We bought a lot of dry ice.
Yeah.
We kept our freezers closed, kept our fridges closed. Bludorn had single phase power.
Uh-huh.
So we were able to, do a lot with that. So actually our walk-in was working.
Mm-hmm.
So we started bringing everything to Bludorn, and it's logistical. Like, okay, what do we do right now? Well, first things first, you got to clear the board.
Yeah.
And some guests want to hang out and stay and finish their bottle of wine or whatever they purchased. That's fine. We do that. It starts to get really smoky because your hood fans are off.
That's right.
And try to close your checks all the old school way. Break out the knuckle busters,
Everyone's breaking out the crash kit.
Crash kit.
The crash kit. Yeah,
that's it. We have one. And you get through it the best you can, and say you're sorry to all the other guests that are on their way if you can get a hold of them.
Yeah.
This was crazy because all the cell phone towers went down.
I saw that. So I again, I'm like watching TikTok. Look at what's happening, and I noticed that like a tower had crashed, and I was like, what are they doing now? And I'm like. Then it said like 500,000 people or 1 million people are without power.
1 million people initially. Yeah, it's crazy. And so first of all, let's make sure everyone's cool on the home front.
Yeah.
So go take care of your families. Go take care of your homes. Let's close up the restaurant and do the best of what we can tonight.
Mm-hmm.
To make sure that everything is going to be okay till the morning, and hopefully we get power overnight. We woke up early in the morning. None of the restaurants have power. Okay, now what do we do? Let's formulate a plan. Let's get all the perishable items that we're going to lose to one place so we don't lose them. And then let's figure out what happens next. So luckily we received power at 2 of the 3 restaurants, got those open in one day because, you have your whole team standing by.
Mm-hmm.
They did enjoy one day off where they're all, I called one of the chefs up and they're all with all the other managers drinking at the bar, and I'm like, okay, good. And they're having fun.
Good.
But get ready to push tomorrow. So the next day they were all there early, ready to go, ready to, and the thing about Houston is with natural disasters, everyone works as a team. They work together. It's like this energy that I haven't really felt before, this sense of community. Everyone is just ready to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see that, they've been through so many natural disasters down there. I'm starting to earn a few, but nothing like, I wasn't there for Ike. I wasn't there for Harvey.
Right.
And those were, moments where it just galvanized the entire city, but then brought everyone together as a community, and you're all in it together and everyone's trying to push for it.
So I experienced, there was like what they call the snowpocalypse in Austin. So when was this, like 2020, I think. It was maybe during COVID or just after COVID. I don't remember.
Snowvid was another
Snowvid,
name
right? Yeah,
around.
so it had to have been that.
Yeah.
And when the power went out in Austin, so I often believe that the worst services you have as a chef usually revolve around weather anomalies. Like if it's raining, everyone's going to cancel, or if it's snowing and they can't leave. In this case, I was in a hotel; they couldn't leave.
Or it slows everyone down so they all get there late at
Right.
the same time the second push is coming.
Right. And when we had the snowpocalypse in Austin, we have just a few employees in the hotel. The rest can't come in, but we have 1,000 people trapped that can't leave, and we don't have enough food to feed them, and we're not getting deliveries. And certain things are going down, and I was like, holy shit. Eventually I got to work, and it was one of those days where the tickets are to the floor. You stop reading them, and it's like, we're just serving grilled cheese now. Like that's it. We don't have anything else. It's tomato soup and grilled cheese. And I can't. So I've experienced it on the cold front. I never experienced on the hurricane front or the derecho front.
Yeah, the derecho front. Yeah.
Yeah.
We in New York, during Hurricane Sandy, where half the city lost power.
Yep.
I was dubbed the one. I was not married at the time.
Yep.
I was the executive sous chef of Café Blue. And during our call, when everyone's going around like, well, who's going to stay at the hotel and watch, cook for the guests over the weekend while we got to have someone stay, oh, Aaron, you're single, you're not married, you don't live with. You can stay at the restaurant. Yeah, single enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stay at the restaurant. No one's gonna care if you're not home. Like, okay, yes, chef.
Yeah. It's funny so I'd imagine when you spent some time in Seattle, New York, and I'm assuming besides what happened in New York, what you were just talking about, Seattle's pretty safe, right? I mean, it's like you got rain, but
yeah, it just rains for a long period of time, but it's like there's no natural disasters there yet. Knock on wood. I mean,
yeah.
They're predicting a massive earthquake one of these days, and that's going to just rock that area, but it hasn't happened yet.
The food scene in Seattle. So I went to school in Portland.
Oh wow, okay.
And again, this is like 28 years ago now,
Yep.
right? So I went to back then it was the Western Culinary Institute. It turned into Le Cordon Bleu later on. But when I went, and what I admired about the Pacific Northwest, and again, 28 years ago, they were doing things in culinary and food that to them was normal, but the rest of the world didn't catch up till years later. I remember like the chef would go out foraging and he'd come back, oh, I got these mushrooms. Is like, who forages? Like, I didn't even think about that. I was like, don't eat those. Those came from the ground. How dare you? But they were the Pacific Northwest, I think, they were doing what they did. And I think eventually the rest of the world caught on. I don't know if you had the same experience in growing up over there, but I just thought the food scene in Portland in general was way ahead of its time back then.
Well, I mean, actually, I left for a reason. I'm going to piss off all my hometown friends by saying this, but I never felt like I could find what I was looking for in Seattle as far as the food. I worked at Canlis.
Yeah, great restaurant.
Great restaurant.
Yeah.
Great family behind it. They're doing great things today. I mean, I look in and I see just how they're really pushing the culinary scene there, and it's really inspiring. And Brady Williams is doing amazing things at Tomo, and but like as a whole,
and he was at Canlis too, right?
He was the yeah, exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. And there's a few other chefs here and there. Ethan Stoll is as an empire. Tom Douglas. He's like the Danielle of Seattle.
He's the Aaron Bludorn of Seattle.
Appreciate that. No. Yeah. It just never was. It was never really. I never felt like it was really pushing boundaries, or I wasn't able to get what I could find in places like San Francisco or New York.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was. I think Seattleites as diners are not as excited about dining out, which is something I found in Houston. They are professional diners there, and Texans in general love to eat out, love restaurants, love that culture. And that was something I found in Houston. It's something I definitely there in New York and San Francisco and Sonoma or wine country or wherever. But yeah, for some reason I never found it in Seattle, so I left.
Yeah, interesting. Talking about Canlis, there's restaurants Canalys is one of them, that you could go in and it's like, you're going to take on a legacy. If you're going in to be the chef at a certain restaurant like a Canalys or even Cafe, right?
Yeah. Well,
you're taking on this legacy, and it's like sometimes the restaurant identity is more important than the chef. If you kind of see what I'm saying, because so many chefs are going through those kitchens, and so I guess my question to you, when you were taking over back then, did you ever have like an internal challenge of like, I want to be me and I want to express myself, but I also want to represent the restaurant and the history and the legacy that you have here?
Totally. I saw Cafe Boulud as my finishing school.
Yeah.
I saw working for Daniel and upholding his brand as a way for me to learn more about myself, as how I execute and how I put things together. I think it was less about me and my style, although I learned about it throughout the process of things that I liked, things that I didn't, and things that I'd sort of tuck away. But mainly I was writing the menus for Danielle.
Yeah.
Of course, because that's every quarter we'd have a meeting where we'd sit down, we'd talk about the next season's menu, and it was some of the most amazing conversations. It was the most terrifying conversations. It's the most vulnerable.
Yeah, terrifying. Why?
Because you're presenting a menu you created for the chef, a chef who is one of the greatest chefs in the world, and arguably
Mount Rushmore of chefs.
Mount Rushmore of chefs,
Yeah.
and you have to live up to that. And he'll see right through your bullshit real quick.
Yeah.
And he's he's very talented for that reason. But if he can see you did the homework, if he could see that you're thinking about the restaurant first and your ego second, he'll work with you and he'll bring you to those areas, because it's not just about writing menus as a chef. It's about how you execute that menu, how that menu item is just as good that first day when all the cooks are hovering around it, taking pictures and really excited about it, and how it looks that day and how it looks the last day you have it on the menu.
Right.
And it doesn't get tired over time.
One of the things that I noticed when I would have people like, okay, you're ready to get your dish on the menu. I'm ready to allow you to contribute to whatever we're having on the menu. And it was really difficult sometimes for the new chefs that it's their first time at bat. Like, oh, I get my dish on the menu, but it's not your dish. It's my dish. It needs to look like I created it. And it's one of the challenges that I think a lot of young cooks have, or a lot of young sous chefs have, when they first get the opportunity to create food that needs to match the identity of the chef that they're working for or the house that they're in. And so I guess my question to you is, did you have guidelines that you put on yourself that you said, okay, what were your guidelines when you're working for someone else to create food that is yours, but it doesn't look like you created it, looks like they made it or it comes from that house?
I mean, get rid of that ownership clause right there. It doesn't belong to anyone. But the sous chef needs to realize that it's not his name on the menu.
Right.
It's your name on the menu. It's my name on the menu. And if this reflects poorly, it reflects poorly on me. Pete Wells doesn't give to whatever about who my sous chef was. He cares about Aaron Bludorn and what Aaron Bludorn deemed to put on his menu. So as far as ownership goes, it's not ownership. It's like, who's going to bear the responsibility of the brunt of the fallout if it doesn't live up to the expectations that restaurant's already has or set forth. Can you recreate that? I mean, that's what being a chef is.
Yeah.
It's little to do with that menu item and those descriptors and those things that you pull together. It's like, well, how do you keep it consistent day in and day out? How is that, like I said, just as good the day you put it on the menu as the day you take it off? We're doing this to make people happy. We're doing this to make people happy in our restaurants. And I think reminding ourselves of that is the most important thing as a chef, personally.
So let me ask you this. When you're now leaving New York and you're coming to Houston, this is your opportunity to really stand on your own too and establish who you are as a chef and do your own thing with your restaurants. And you have some tremendous restaurants. You have 3 now, and I want to talk about the new ones that are coming down the road, but we'll talk about that in a second. And when I was joking a little bit earlier, I said, you're the new king of Houston. I mean that. It's like, wow, you've done some tremendous work there and in a short period of time, and your restaurants are phenomenal. It's good for me to watch from outside here as a former retired chef now. And I'm like, yeah, good for you, man. Like, congratulations. But how did you establish what your identity was going to be like? How did you land on and say, okay, now I'm going to plant my flag. This is who I am. This is what the brand is going to be.
Well, I mean, a lot of it happened. There were a lot of things that happened very quickly between raising money, with getting the space secured. We bounced around between a few different spaces, and then there was this what was it? It was this virus that kind of took the world over. That influenced a lot. I mean, look, I'd always wanted to do this casual fine dining restaurant that sort of took elements of fine dining and made it a little bit more approachable, a lot more approachable. And I think that's where, even before, that's where society was kind of headed towards. We were sort of rejecting a lot of these white tablecloth and all this pomp and circumstance and everything else that went along with a lot of elements of fine dining, which I will say I do enjoy quite a bit.
Yeah.
By no means, this is just how I wanted to interpret it at my restaurant. And I wanted a space where it could feel comfortable no matter what. And I think what came into play with COVID was that we were all going through an extremely traumatic experience, regardless of what industry you were in. You were displaced in some way. You're working at home. You're not able to enjoy. Life was stressful, right? During especially those first days of lockdown, and those were the days where we were sort of formulating what we were going to do at Bludorn.
How far into opening or post-opening were you when COVID hit?
So I had raised the money.
Yeah.
All the docs were signed. Money's in the bank in January. I'd signed the lease.
March.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd signed the lease with personal guarantee in December. So I'd already, I was point of no return. February, full demolition of the whole entire space. Crushed, so when March hit, I was literally, that day that we, were given, the news that we had the lockdown, and I was standing by myself in the space with just a completely demolished restaurant. Well, can't give it back to the landlord now. Can't even start that conversation. What do we do? And we move forward.
When did you open?
August of 2020.
Okay, so this is now, and again, I'm trying to think back because COVID feels like yesterday, but also feels like a lifetime ago.
Sure.
And I'm trying to think, okay, so everyone's coming in, QR codes, everyone's still wearing masks.
Yep.
No one wants to touch the menu. You probably have to, restaurant servers are wearing gloves sometimes to deliver the food. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Is that how you reopened with all the restrictions in place, or?
Somewhat, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, we adhered to everything. Texas was a little bit more lenient,
yeah,
for sure, as far as percentages of occupancy and whatnot. But we took it all very seriously with the idea that if we showed the guest that we were on top of every little detail, and I'm talking every little detail. We had glass toppers, so you'd have your empty water glass at your table. But then I made those. You used to see them at you get them at hotels like Holiday Inn. They top your water glass with a little cardboard glass topper.
It's what's in the bathroom in most hotels on the water glass, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we made those, and we said with the Bludorn logo on top, and those were in front of your glass. So the first thing the waiter would do would greet you with a Oshiboro hand towel that they would spray a scented hand sanitizer on top of to give you that start. And then your glass topper was taken off and you were poured water. So there was no way that any germs got in that. Anyway, we were over the top because the idea was we wanted from your initial, point of contact with us that you saw that we were taking this very seriously, so you didn't have to. Your mind could sort of wash away and know that we were going to be very safe. We had an open kitchen, make sure it was as clean as possible. Everyone could see all the chefs wearing gloves, see us all in masks, everything else. So the idea was that you could let your cares wash away and take you back to that dining experience that you loved. And a lot of that also had to do with the accessibility, not being too fussy with the menu, being something, having something for everyone. And that just was where we started with the restaurant. And from there, it's just kind of grown. You can get everything from caviar service, traditional caviar service with, really high-end champagne to burger and a beer at the bar and watch the Astros game. And all that in our restaurant, and it all makes sense together. And so that's at the heart of what Bludorn is. It's the idea that true luxury is giving you exactly what you want when you want it.
Right.
And you can be at a business dinner, and if you want that burger, you're going to have it, and you're not going to feel bad about it. You're not going to feel like you're dressing down. You know, does that make sense?
Yep.
And I think that struck a chord with a lot of people with what we were doing there, and we got really excited about it. And here we are.
So I want to stick to the restaurant empire. And the reason I want to is because a lot of the people that listen to the show they're young cooks and chefs who have aspirations to open their own restaurant one day. What does that look like? You're opening up a restaurant for the first time. You're coming from New York, and I don't know if you had opened a restaurant before that.
I've been part of openings, but never.
But as now you're the skipper.
Yeah.
Without getting into all the nitty gritty, what is some of the things that you'd learn and like, oh yeah, everyone needs to know this. Like this is one of the things you underestimate, and this is something that you should really pay attention to when you're opening up a restaurant.
Have really good lawyers to work out a good company agreement with all of your investors. Make sure you do all your due diligence with your, don't not spend money on lawyers. I would just say, protect yourself is first and foremost, especially with landlords, especially with, anyone that's helping you out. If they're not family, be a little skeptical about what's going on. For sure. I would say first and foremost, look, it's daunting and you can't have other things holding you back. I would say use every resource that you possibly have available to you. Don't feel like there's something that, don't feel like the rest of the world is not doing the same thing. You need to have every advantage possible when you're opening up a restaurant. It's going to be the hardest thing you're ever going to do, and prepare yourself for that. The cooking needs to be second nature. You need to be able to do it without even thinking about it, because you're going to be thinking about everything else that's going on. And if you're not completely confident in your skills as a cook, as a dishwasher, so as a manager, you're not ready. You have to know that you're going to make quick decisions. They're going to be the best decision that you could make at the time. And you have to know that it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you deal with it.
So you go from one restaurant to two restaurants to three. So going from one restaurant, when it's your first restaurant and you're still in the building every day and you're the chef and you're also the owner. But then when you go to two restaurants and three, when does your role start to change? And what does that look like for people that don't know what that looks like?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It changes slowly. Make sure that you have people that have been working with you, and you can trust in order to grow. You can't grow if you don't have those people in place. We grew because we knew with the opening of Blue Dorn, we had a lot of people move to Houston to be a part of it. They were very excited. However, these people that are moving to Houston to be a part of Blue Dorn, once we got off the ground and rolling, we realized we had so much talent in the building, and all of this talent wants to continue to grow. If we don't grow, we're going to lose them.
Yeah, they leave, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the main reason why we opened up Navy Blue was to have more places for these people to grow with us. Because if safety is in growth, they always say. And we truly felt like this gave us the opportunity to continue to grow our team, to continue to create opportunities for these people that have joined us. And now what we're seeing after with our third restaurant is we're having people that started with us as cooks, as they're now GMs and chefs, and we've created this culture where people have opportunities and they work through our systems. They work with us at either at Blue Dorn or Navy Blue, and then they're considered for these next opportunities. And that culture is to me, that's what I came up in. It was always very exciting. It's just like starting on Garde Manger and moving around the kitchen. That's the most exciting thing after you master your station, and 3, 4, 5 months go by and you're ready to move, and chef finally pulls you aside and tells you, hey, it's time for you to move to hot apps. I can remember my whole career, that was the most exciting day of my year, quarter, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And how do you create that? And you have to realize that you also have to create that for your managers, because people have to have something that they're working towards.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I didn't really answer your question.
No, you
as
did.
far as
I think you
like.
did. Yeah. Yeah, I think you did. So you need a team around you, obviously, that wants to grow with you, so you could grow them as well and help them as someone helped you.
Totally.
So now you're about to, you're 3, right?
Yep.
And maybe 4?
4th is on the way.
4th. Tell me about that.
So the restaurant stand, as per said, it's in the St. Augustine Hotel, which is being built in Houston. It's
Yep.
a really, really cool project. It's by Bunkhouse Hotels out of Austin.
Licensing agreement, I'm assuming. Of some sort?
Licensing and management agreement. So it's a new something new for us, where it's not a known property, but that's like our next step right now.
I mean, I love that deal. Dean Fearing, who is the chef at Fearing's at the Ritz-Carlton in Dallas.
Yeah.
Also legendary Texas chef. And I remember he was the chef at the Mansion on Turtle Creek for years, and he had his TV show back in the 90s.
He's a legend.
He's a legend, right? And he got that Ritz-Carlton deal, and I remember watching that, and I was like, that's the deal. That's the move. Like, someone else is putting up the building. You don't have all the stress of the restaurant, but like you get all the benefits of the hotel, because hotels obviously have a lot of incentive to have a restaurant in there because of the rooms, the revenue that the rooms are bringing in and whatnot. And, I know a lot of chefs now that look at that, like Michael Mina's built an empire off of being in Four Seasons and Fairmont and everywhere else that he's in. And, John Tazar now is in a lot of JW and Ritz-Carlton hotels, or maybe Ritz-Carlton. I don't know if he's in any JWs, but Jean-Georges. I mean, the list goes on and on of all these chefs that look at that licensing deal. And I mean, I think we were talking about this a couple of months back. I was talking with the hotel group, and I had like 3 Andre restaurants about to go in, and I was like, I think this is don't count your chickens before they hatch. I thought it was going to go through, and in the end, they decided to go a different route. But me being retired, and this has nothing to do with anything, but me being retired, the licensing deal would be something that would interest me to go back. But I like those hotel deals. I really do. So I think that's great that you're getting that.
Well, thank you. I think it's a fun opportunity to do something different. Cafe Boulud was in a hotel, and we while it was a standalone restaurant, it still did do room service. And it was a different deal than this. It was still owned by Danielle, but they had a contract with the hotel as the landlord. Anyway, kind of fun, but fun to be able to play with room service and what that guest experience is like. We really got excited about it because it was with Bunkhouse Hotels, and I love the experiences that they create in their different properties. From Mexico City to Todos Santos to Austin, all the different brands they have here, and this is going to be a Saint collection, so it's on par with Saint Cecilia here, which is one of my favorite hotels in the country.
Right.
And yeah, to create that experience in Houston, in Montrose, and they like my idea of doing a bistro, which I haven't been able to do yet. I think that gives us a lot of opportunity. The idea is it's an American bistro through the eyes of Houston, so we get to tap into all the different flavors and cultures of cuisines.
What does that look like? Like, what are some of the dishes that you're excited about getting on?
I'm not gonna. I can't go.
You can't.
Too far in depth yet. But there will be definitely like a Vietnamese influence. Our chef there is Vietnamese, and he's. I think it's gonna be awesome.
So when you were the chef, and when I say the chef, I mean years ago, because now I feel like you're the chef entrepreneur. But when you were the chef and you were writing menus and you had your notebooks back then and you got your dishes and you're going, and like you said, you have all the cookbooks and
I still do that.
So now you're doing the same thing. You're also creating restaurants, right? So my question is, you have 3, you're going into 4. What are some restaurants that, like, magic wand, what are some restaurants that you would like to open that when you step back and you look at your legacy and say, yeah, I did open all those restaurants that I wanted to open? What are some that are sitting back there in the notebooks?
I mean, my partner Sharif is he's Senegalese, and where I've taken a few trips to Senegal, we have this idea of doing the Senegalese barbecue restaurant one day, where it's like Texas and West Africa. I don't know. So that's like a dream, just to have something fun like that. I love low country cuisine, and I've spent a lot of time out in Charleston, and like some of them just like the simple seafood shacks out there.
Yeah,
Sort of emulating something like that, I think has my eye. I don't know, just creating fun experiences in different places. Like I know those are, but also maybe one day doing something a little bit more fine dining. I think I've always, that's where I came up, and white tablecloth fine dining. And I know we kind of with Bludorn, we sort of shed that a little bit, but I think maybe a return to that is something could be very interesting.
Yeah, I think fine dining will always have a place as long as there's different levels of experiences that you want. There'll always be different levels of restaurants that you want to experience, totally. Right? I mean, and I do love the fine dining. There's nothing. I was having a conversation with Ferdinand Metz, CIA. And one of the things that he said to me is like, the best part about fine dining, it always stuck with me. The best part about fine dining in the old days when he was cooking is that it came to the table and had the cloche, and you didn't know what was under it. And then voila, everyone would open up the cloche at the same time. And it was like the drama of it. And I do miss, and I think about food that I crave. And it's like I could cook like a lot of different stuff, but I don't necessarily crave it. Sometimes I just like cooking it, but I don't necessarily want to eat it. What I like to eat is like the classics. I mean, give me a lobster bisque over anything. Give me an onion soup over anything else. Yeah. Give me, whatever, right? What are some of those dishes? Like, what are dishes that you crave? Maybe that like take you to a place and you say, I love eating that. What's your like ratatouille moment in your chef career when you think about food that you've made?
Pike Canal,
Yeah.
like vanilla brochette. Oh my God, that dish, like having that in Lyon is like, whew. And then learning how to cook it and having it on the menu at cafe was like one of those moments, like just like that texture, that.
So for people that don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, so it's a pike is a river fish, and you make a mousse basically out of it, and then you warm it up in either. It could be a cream sauce, it could be any type of sauce, but maybe like a sauce Americane.
Yep.
And then as you warm it up and heat it up, it starts to souffle up a little bit, and then you gratin it right at the end, and then just one more glaze, gratin one more time, and it just has like almost like a little bit of like crispy caramelized on top, and it's just that like rich lobster flavor with that just fluffy pike. It's like a fish mousse, and it's incredible.
So let's say you're throwing a dinner party, and you're going to eat with people that you want to enjoy the food. And it's not about impressing. It's just about like, we're going to have good food.
Yep.
And these are people that you care about. What are you cooking?
I'm doing it on an open fire in my backyard. I'm putting, a few cowboy steaks down, or, Côte de Boeuf. I'm putting maybe some shrimp on there. So it's like a surf and turf. Vegetables, like maybe I made a ratatouille earlier that day that I just warm up, some roasted potatoes with rosemary, and some sauces, like maybe like a chimichurri or something like that. Just everything very fresh. I end up eating very healthy and fresh because I like to just like hang out. Like that's like, and then eating outside if we can, on a table where just warm summer night. I mean, I guess it's the hot summer. Let's say warm spring night for Texas. You got wine bottles. It doesn't matter. You just keep opening them up, and everyone's just kind of picking at the food. It's just like a slow burn. A lot of fun.
Simple food. I was like, I have the saying. It's like, I look at all the beautiful food that I've made, and then I say, that looks pretty, and then I go eat a steak. It's like, I don't, that's great, but I want to eat that.
That's more technical. That's what you're doing at work. That's like, do you think, I don't know, someone that, I don't know. Anyway, I always think about that. It's like, that's work. That's why I do that. I look at that as a very technical, like, I don't know. Do you have the same thing where you don't always like eating the food that you create? It could be delicious.
Yeah.
But you can't sit down and enjoy it after you create it.
I agree with that. And what's interesting is if I create a dish, because sometimes, I mean, I don't know, when I was a chef, it's like I might create a dish, but I might never have made it. Like I will write it on paper, I'll draw it, I'll talk to a sous chef, and then I will enjoy it more if they made it than if I made it. As strange as that sounds.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, everyone says they're always, I'm so scared to cook for you. You're a chef. Honestly, I think your food, whoever that person might be, who's nervous to cook for me, I guarantee you I'm going to think it tastes better than the food that I cook. Because I'm going to pour over my food. I've tasted it so many times by the time I get it to the point where I'm serving it that I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
And I've looked at it, poured over it so much. And at the end of it, I'm like, God, Okay, I hope everyone else enjoys it.
What I find things, I very rarely get impressed with what I'm doing, but when I make stews at home,
Okay.
like I will
yeah.
enjoy that. Like
100%.
like if I'm making a stew, I mean, and if we're making like something with chilies in it or something like that,
That's
it's
a
like
really good point.
like my stews, I'll eat. I'm like, and I'll say, fuck, I'm a good cook. I forgot, But the other stuff is like, oh, that's restaurant food. Like that's restaurant food. It's different.
Like on a cold day when you got nothing going on, you go out, you go grocery shopping earlier, like maybe you went the day before, and then you just kind of like slowly put it going on, you go back to the game, take it out, you take a look at it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that whole day thing by the end of the day, you're right.
It's good. So I have a question. So I went back, knowing that we were going to talk. I went back and watched the show you were on. So Netflix,
The Final Table.
The Final Table.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could talk about it because I don't know if they make you sign an NDA or something like that. But for people that look at shows like Final Table or Top Chef or fill in the blank cooking competition show, what are some of the things that we don't see that you see that would either help you succeed or, sometimes prevent you from succeeding behind the scenes that the camera just doesn't show that?
I mean, it's tough. It's whatever, cook. I think the best thing you can do to get ready for a show like that is to cook in a bunch of strange environments where you don't know what kind of equipment you're going to have or if it's going to work or like, bright lights all over you and people trying to talk to you and getting you to, that's tough. I think one of the things I didn't realize is that you sit around forever. Mm-hmm. It's like you're like, well, let's just wait for 6 hours of anxiety waiting to cook for an hour. See what that does to your mental state.
Yeah.
And then okay, now we're going.
So what are you guys just all in the green room, just hanging out, cracking jokes, whatever?
I mean, kind of, but it's like I get what those fighter pilots are like on Ready 5. They're like, are we gonna launch? Are we gonna go? Are we gonna do this? Or are we gonna just hang out?
Yeah.
Because you're just waiting for it to come, and then once it comes, oh man, it hits. Everything that we did on that show was real. Like the timeline, everything else, it was exactly.
Do you sometimes look at that and like, how did I pull that off? Like in that time?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. No, you're able to do pretty amazing things, which is why I always, sometimes when you see a cook lagging a little bit on a day, you're like, you realize that you could have gotten that whole list done.
Yeah.
You just got to apply yourself. You got to push yourself. You don't know how much you can do until you really push yourself.
So on that show, you were partnered up. Did you guys know each other before that, or did you meet there? So that was part of the twist of the show, right? It's like, you can meet someone for the first time. You guys are going to
not necessarily. Some of the other people had relationships before. I was initially, had gone really far with a local Austin chef, and him and I were supposed to be together, and then we didn't get picked, and then they came back and asked me afterwards.
Interesting. It was really cool watching it because again, I saw it when it first came out, and then knowing that we were going to talk, I was like, I should probably refresh and watch this again, and it was good. I mean, watching that show was like, man, the food was really good, and then you had so many. I mean, the cream of the crop, the Mount Rushmore of chefs coming in as judges. Grant and Claire Smith, and anyway, they were all there, and I was like, what was that like?
It was really cool, and also nerve-wracking. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me like, well, why didn't they do a second season? Why wasn't there so much more interest to it? Well, because they took a lot of the drama out of it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to, and that's why I did the show.
Yeah.
Because it was appealing. Like the whole pitch to us was, hey, we're going to do a show that's just going to be about the cooking, and for chef nerds like us,
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that. I don't want anyone to film me in a house living with these people for however long. I don't want to be sequestered or anything like that. We weren't sequestered.
Yeah.
We'd actually, after all the filmings, we at night we go eat together. We eat around LA. I think I got a great tour of all the different restaurants around there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We weren't, all that part was off camera.
So how long does something like that take to film?
I was there for 5 weeks. So I think 6 weeks for those who stayed on all the way through it.
And I know people that have been on like Top Chef. Well, are you allowed to use your phone or did like?
Yeah, you're able to do everything.
Yeah. So
I remember calling my fiance, now wife, after the first night, and just saying, I think I made a mistake. We had gotten kicked to the elimination challenge, and I just didn't. It didn't feel great, and then we ended up bouncing back. So
I was watching it. I was watching like some of the chefs that were up there. After when you're on the chopping block, and so they bring the chef down, and it's like, man, these chefs, like, they were harsh on some of the people. It's like, damn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like culinary school judging you all over again.
See, I think that's where they wanted the drama to come from.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was a fun show.
So speaking of cooking competitions, working under Danielle, working with Gavin, Bocuse d'Or, obviously major competition. Did you ever have any aspirations to kind of jump into that competition?
I don't know. I of course, like, the idea was very intriguing, but not really. I've always seen myself as wanting to open restaurants and be a restaurateur. I think being a chef was the way for me to get there, and way to have the most amount of control to where I felt comfortable taking on arguably one of the hardest industries in the world.
Yep.
So, that type of food, while I think it's amazing, and having attended it and seen it in real time, and like been a part of it through Danielle, it's incredible to see what some of these guys do day in, day out, and what they're able to create, and the amount of time that they have is amazing. It's never really been what I really see myself as, personally.
No desire. Do you watch it? Like, you fanboy out and like, ooh, look at what they're making. Sometimes I do. Like, I'll watch it and like, I'll look at the techniques and like, I'm still in that idea. That's a great idea. Like, there's so many little things. Like, obviously I'm not going to make that detailed something in a restaurant, but it's like that one thing, that mold, that's a great, or how quickly they have to make something. And so they have to figure out the fastest way to get this done. That has to be perfect. So I'll watch them like, that's
trust
a good,
me,
that's a good idea.
I watch all of it through Instagram or anything else, but I don't get up early.
No.
Live feed. But I wish
you're not flying to Lyon?
I think, well, I like I said, I've been there before.
For Bocuse?
Yeah. It was incredible.
Which one?
It was 2017.
When Matt won?
No, the one afterwards when it was
Jeff Hayashi?
No,
Kirkley.
Before that, yeah, Matthew Kirkley. That's right. And and Mimi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mimi,
yeah, she was yours, right?
Yeah.
She worked under you.
Yeah. So through CCAP. So she did the CCAP competition.
Yeah.
And I offered her a position at Café Boulud, and she was with us through her high school internship, and then her internship afterwards was at Danielle, where of course Eddie LaRue sort of found her as a upcoming talent.
So I'm trying to think back, because we were in Vegas doing the it was the Young Chef competition, and then it was also like the qualifier where Matthew Kirkley won. Yeah, and she was competing too. So I'm trying to remember what that competition was that she won.
Oh, I was out there that year.
Were you?
I think yeah, I was.
The year that Kirkley won?
Or was I? No. It was the year that Peters met.
So it was the year before in Vegas. So the year after we were there, and I remember I met her. She was doing the not the Young Chef, but the Apprentice competition. Yeah. She won that, and she was great. Very, very detailed. She's fast too.
Well, yeah. She's worked.
Where's she now?
She's in New York. I think she's. Yeah. I've seen her do things here and there. We don't. Not in touch.
Just bring her down.
I know. Don't tempt me.
She's listening. Yeah. Hey, no offense to whoever she's working for, but
yeah.
So I went to Matt's spot the other day. So he just Matthew Peters, who won the Bocuse d'Or, for people that don't know who we're talking about.
I'm going tonight.
You're going tonight to Prelude. Yeah, I went there the other day. It was great. Beautiful space.
Yeah,
beautiful space. I mean, I'm very happy for him. I couldn't be happier for him, because I think that space. I think that God, I got to be careful what I say, but I think two of the most beautiful restaurants in Austin, along with a lot of other restaurants. But two of the most beautiful restaurants in Austin is what Matt has at Prelude. And I know right now it's just a bar with bites. And then Bacalar, the Gabriel restaurant's beautiful as well. A lot of artwork. And I think that's why I like them both so much, is that they've done a tremendous job with the art. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think you're in for a treat tonight when you see all the art and all the beautiful things that he has on the wall. And it's really cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I've always really been excited about his food and what he does and what he brings to Texas. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. So it's funny, when you talk about competitions, Matt won Bocuse d'Or, but there's certain chefs. And so I'm curious if, maybe you're this person, but maybe there's someone in your kitchen or someone that you've worked with. Events that I've done with Matt when we're cooking together, he's the type of chef that's like, not only is he done with all his work and it's super detailed, but you need help. Like, it doesn't like, and I'm like struggling over here. It's like, how's he done with everything? And he's asking me if I need help. There's some chefs like that like they're just they don't seem to ever be frazzled. They don't run, and they're way ahead of everyone else.
Well, I'm able to do that these days because I come with everything prepped.
Now there you go. Yeah. So you heard you're doing Hot Luck. Yeah. So tell us about that.
Excited for it. Yeah. No, we're doing a little preview of Persid, and just it's these events are fun.
Yeah.
You get to let your hair down. Everyone's just here to have a good time. We're gonna be doing some great food, and I brought our pastry chef along to Murray Riddle to do one of the desserts from the restaurant. So we're using it as like a way to sort of preview it for whomever's there, and kind of draw up some excitement around a bunkhouse hotel in Houston.
Yeah,
which Houston very much needs. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I'll be there tomorrow. So Hot Luck is in Austin. Tomorrow's what, the 24th? Yeah. 25th. So Junior, a mutual friend of ours, Junior Borges, another great chef. He said, "Hey, you want to help me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'll go help you." And then now I'm like, "Man, am I going to get stuck doing everything?" Junior, if you're listening to this, I better not get stuck doing all the work. He's going to show up on the private jet and.
Well, I didn't see his name crossed off on the. Sorry, he hasn't checked in yet.
Yeah, so no, he's going tomorrow. I was like, "What are we doing?" I hope it's not like all I'm thinking is like, it's hot. Am I going to be on the grill? Like, no, he's doing with short rib. Got it. Okay, good. I'll see you out there tomorrow. I'm going to ask you like just kind of random chef advice questions.
Sure.
So a lot of the people that listen to the Chef's PSA podcast, and by the way, this is the 100th episode. If you don't know,
congratulations!
You're the 100th episode guest.
I am not worthy, but thank you.
So a lot of the people that listen to this show, the whole purpose of Chef's PSA, and the reason I created it was a lot of people don't have access to mentorship, and being a part of great restaurants and having a great network of chefs, sometimes I feel like we take that for granted because not everyone has access. Not everyone can pick up the phone and call Danielle or Gavin or whoever, or Aaron Bludorn. And a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. And so we listen to the person next to us who's giving us bad advice, and then our career just goes down the wrong path, and then we're frustrated. So for the people that are listening, if you wanted to give good advice to chefs and cooks that are just coming up, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. This is your best advice, right?
Got it.
First day in the kitchen. It's a brand new kitchen that you're walking into. What are some things that a new cook should do when they're going into a new kitchen?
First of all, make sure you're clean and presentable and paid attention to every instruction that was given to you. Do not show up late. Do not show up late.
What is early? What's on time?
15 minutes early.
15 minutes early, okay.
15 minutes early is on time.
Yep.
Half hour, and look, I think anything that gives you one leg up to show that you're serious about this, show up in a suit and tie. I don't care. I think I only view that positively. Mm-hmm. You can never be overdressed. It's not, but come in, look sharp, have all your tools ready to go, have sharp knives, wash your hands first and foremost when you go into a kitchen, mm-hmm. just to show that you're taking into consideration all these things that should be second nature but aren't. Mm-hmm. And I would say keep your head down, don't talk, don't lean, do not lean.
Can you rest your foot on the table, chef?
No. Just be as fly on the wall as possible. I'll tell you, and you can be too eager.
Yep.
One time, the first day I staged at Danielle, I almost burned the place down because I lit a box on fire because I thought I was being, I had a box of spinach and I was blanching the spinach, and the side of the box I had propped up against the piano of the.
Yeah, jeez.
It caught fire, and I didn't realize it because I was just going. I'm trying to show them how fast I was, and a little time goes on.
Who's the chef at the time?
It was Jean-Francois.
Yeah.
Toto. who's a legend in the Danielle world. And anyone who knows who's worked in Danielle will know. He comes in, he's the head steward. He goes, "Who the left a box of burning spinach in the hallway? You're trying to burn the place." And I had to put it in my hand. So
this is your first day.
that was my first day. as a trail.
Yeah. Still got the job, though.
Yeah, at Cafe Balloon. There's a reason I didn't get it.
Got it. Yeah.
Anyway, I actually told that story on my last day, and Jean-Francois was like, "That was you?" Anyway, but yeah, no, don't be too eager. Try to be as excited, as laser focused as possible, and there's no way you won't get the job.
A lot of the questions that I get on Chef's PSA is something that I feel like I'm not necessarily qualified to answer because I view things differently. And I don't want to skew your opinion on this. So where do you fall on a lot of the people that come to me, they say, how do you deal with burnout? And I have my opinions on that, but what is your opinion on burnout, and how do you personally deal with burnout for yourself? And then what are some things that you have in place for the people that you work with for that?
It's great question. First of all, anyone who makes their own schedule, I strongly, if not firmly, demand that you take 2 days off. If you can get 2 days off in a row, I think it's very important. Of course, we all have to work 6 days every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Some of us just work on end. It happens. If you own the place, that's on you. Mm-hmm. I think, burnout is something that happens in our industry. And for me, you have to always remind yourself why you're doing it. Why are you, this job that we have, it can't be for the money. There's no way it's for the money. It's for your personal fulfillment. It's for your love of the game. It's for your passion. And you having a goal is the most important thing, because as burned out as you are, as at the end of the rope as you are, you always know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or at least in your mind, you're working towards something. Mm-hmm. That every day you're coming in, you're putting a coin into a piggy bank, to a virtual piggy bank mm-hmm. of your career, and that's what's pulling you forward. Because if you don't have that, why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. And that's, to me, that's where I'm at. Why I do it every day. While also, the 300 employees that we have that depend on us to be out doing exactly what we do to continue to allow these restaurants to continue to run, to get them paid is enough for me right there. But
do you do anything personally? Do you have any, you run, what does your health routine look like, so that way you're fit for service?
I run. In the last few years, I've ramped down my drinking intake a ton. Mm-hmm. I'm not like I was drinking a lot before, but just making sure that I'm as healthy as possible, going to bed early. Mm-hmm. I find myself enjoying my job, the day-to-day, a lot more if I'm in a much healthier place. And then, personally, and however that is, however you take that, that's your own routine is up to you. But, mm-hmm. Definitely running is huge for me. Mm-hmm. It's a time for me to sort out my mind, sort of
like meditation, right?
Yeah,
meditative.
It's meditative. Yeah. I sometimes, find myself, I get on the Calm app or like a breathing app, and I'll mm-hmm. do that for 10 minutes a day. And that helps a lot too. But also I put things on the calendar mm-hmm. for myself. It's a vacation. I like to go see music, concerts. I'll travel for concerts. I go see fish around the country.
Yeah, things like you're a big fish fan.
Yeah.
We were at where were we at? Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
We were cooking there, and I remember Flaming Lips. I was like, I honestly had no idea who they were. I was like, you're like, I'm gonna go see them. I was like, who are they? But you're big time into that music. I'm a big hip hop head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like hip hop?
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to see Roots, Diggable Planets, and who else is on that tour? It's amazing. Farside.
Yeah.
I grew up on that.
So is that what you do to decompress? Go to concerts and things like that?
Yeah.
Music?
Listen to music. Anything to sort of, recharge yourself.
Yeah.
Keep yourself inspired.
You allow music in the kitchen?
I do.
You do?
During prep.
During prep, not during service.
Not during service.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who picks the music?
It's always the prep cooks.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, come on. You know, like and I'll tell you what, all the cooks definitely embrace that for sure, because they know that if they try to change the music, they're not getting their prep done.
Yeah.
Cumbia's
right. I mean, that works, right?
King. I mean, but I've fallen in love with the music because I've listened to it throughout my entire career. It's awesome.
If you could give advice to a young cook on something that would help accelerate their career, advice that you wish you heard, or maybe you did hear early on, what advice would you give them?
I would say, you know, for me in my career, the biggest thing has been I've stayed with the restaurant longer. Mm-hmm. I tried to leave Café Bleude after 1 year. Mm-hmm. Well, we all know how that went. I was there 10 years altogether. Mm-hmm. But the reason why Gavin told me that I couldn't leave, well, he said that you shouldn't leave, is because I have something more for you. So he always had something, you know, guiding me on, and it was that ended up over time. I learned the most by staying in the same restaurant for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And eventually was given the keys to run it. I'd say, find a mentor. Like we were saying at the beginning of all, you know, it's the most important thing, to find a mentor to latch onto and, you know, stay with them. Mm-hmm. You know,
which is a good question. How do you recognize when someone is a good mentor versus just picking the line cook that has one more year experience that works next to you?
I think you have to look at someone as they have achieved what you would like to achieve. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt with Douglas Keane. Mm-hmm. He was when I started working for him, he was 35 years old. He was the chef at Cyrus. You know, was on the up and up. Mm-hmm. And over the course of working for him, we got 4 stars for the Chronicle, 2 Michelin stars, all that. And he was so humble. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he wasn't out with partying with the cooks or anything like that. He wasn't. And I like that. He had a level of professionalism. He created that environment in his kitchen, and that's what I wanted to be one day. Mm-hmm. And so working for him, and the same was with Gavin. Mm-hmm. The same was with Danielle, for sure. You know, and working for people that you could really, believe in. Mm-hmm. And they established that culture. In fact, working for Douglas, one of the first things he told me when he hired me, I don't create cooks, I make chefs. And it was that idea that he was going to take me to the next level of my career, and he completed on that promise at the end of it. And we create that same thing in our restaurants every day. Mm-hmm.
Now, you've been blessed with working with some really amazing people, but not everyone is. How would you explain to someone to recognize when it's time to leave? Like, maybe you're not in the right kitchen. When do you know when it is time to leave?
When you stop learning, for sure. When you don't see the next step ahead of you as achievable. Mm-hmm. When, if anything gets toxic, I thankfully have not necessarily had too much of that happen in my career to where I had to leave a kitchen to where I felt like I was being bullied or anything like that. But it's out there.
Yep, it happens.
And if that's the case, if that's the culture that's set up in your kitchen and you don't agree with it, you don't thrive in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no shame in leaving. Yeah, I mean, but you have to, before you make that decision, you have to look at yourself and you have to make sure, is this my issue or is this someone else's issue? Mm-hmm. You know, because if it's your issue, you're going to have that every place you go.
Yeah. Last thing. So the podcast is Chef's PSA. You have a billboard out there. Aaron Bluedorn's Chef's PSA. What is one thing, the message that you want every cook out there to know, that, hey, like, stop doing this or start doing this?
Stop saying heard.
So it's funny that you bring that up. I put that in the first book that I wrote.
Are you kidding me?
I did. So I said, say chef, yes, chef, we chef, anything is better than heard. And I got so much shit for it because heard is like, you know, like a lot of people are like, no, you say heard in this kitchen. And I was like, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And I don't like it. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me, but I get it. Like,
everyone says it. I tried to stop it. It happens. Everyone says it at all of our restaurants. I let it go. I'm like, really? This doesn't. I think if it, for real, if it was a real, I'd say treat it like you own it, and one day you will.
There you go.
There we go.
Well, Chef, where can people find you?
They can find me at Bluedorn, Navy Blue, or Bar Bluedorn in Houston, Texas. Yep. My Instagram handle is at Aaron Bluedorn. And
Well,
come see me.
yeah, it was great seeing you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah,
Congrats
yeah.
on 100.
Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. If you want to support the show, you know what to do. Make sure you leave 5 stars, nothing less than 5 stars. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. You can support everything that we're doing by going to chefspsa.com, where you get all the books and all the merch, including this Just Cook hat. I just released a new version of it in camo. I don't know if anyone will be able to see you if you're wearing the camo hat, but you could go at that one. And on Substack, if you're a premium subscriber, the new book that I just finished, which will be published in about 2 weeks, is available as an ebook download right now. So if you want a sneak peek, you go get that right now on Substack. The book is Bad Cooks Everywhere. I think it's a really fun book, and I think all of you will enjoy it. So see you next week. Hit the porno music.
No, it's Andre in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction, stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, class is in session.